Tom, obviously this inquiry has come about at a time when musicians are down on their knees as a result of the loss of live music, and it's therefore shone a light on the recorded music sector. Can you tell us about the Broken Record campaign which you founded and what your main concerns are with music streaming?
You know, I started Broken Record because this is a problem we've been hearing about forever. This isn't new. There has always been a problem with inequity and unfairness in the music industry. This isn't the first time any of you will have heard about this. But, you know, streaming has come along, this wonderful technology that puts music in all of our back pockets, all music that's ever been made. But unfortunately, it's made the problem worse and more profound because it's so much harder to understand. You know, if there's one thing that this country is amazing at, truly great at, it's music. We're genuinely world-beating at it. It's an incredible driver of GVA growth and exports, and brings us soft power in the world. So this is something we really, you know, we need to nurture and protect and give consideration to my mind. There's over 50,000 professional musicians, entrepreneurial, self-employed musicians in this country. Many tens of thousands of songwriters and performing artists. And they live in every constituency in this country. But, you know, we know from survey data that over half of them earn under £20,000 a year. Another survey puts the median around £16,000 or £17,000 a year. And a big survey across Europe of all performer artists put the amount that is made per annum from streaming at around £900.
I mean, in a way, that's sometimes called the long tail, isn't it? You know, that there is in the music industry. When people look at these problems, sometimes they see very successful artists and think, why should we be bothered about, you know, whether they've got a good record deal or not, and so on. But actually, this what you're describing is it affects people on very modest incomes who are not getting any share out of streaming. Is that a fair point?
That's absolutely right. I'm not here to argue for Paul McCartney to get more money. Far from it. This is happening whilst a few multinational corporations, foreign-based corporations, are making the most money, the best growth, the best profit margins they've ever made in their history. And, you know, if we balance, this is the point, if we rebalance this, money goes into the UK economy. It goes into UK PLC. It goes into every single one of your constituencies. It seems like a bit of a no-brainer as far as I'm concerned. We need to protect our talent pipeline. We need to protect these people on quite modest incomes. And, you know, you're right, COVID, we shouldn't change this because of COVID. Far from it. But what COVID has done is it has provided an opportunity for us to really see what we're making from recorded music. And it's pretty horrific.
Tell us why it could be quite simple then. You know, what is...
Sorry, okay, fair enough, I'll get to it. Look, equitable remuneration does what it says on the tin. Should we say ER from now on, because it's such a mouthful, equitable remuneration. But it does what it says on the tin. It's equal pay for equal work. And it's an existing right in broadcast, in the communication to the public right, as it's set out in the 1988 Copyright Act. And basically, when it gets paid to PPL, the Phonographic Performance Limited, it is split 50-50 between the artists and the labels. And a small portion of it, of the artist side, goes to the non-featured artists, which is the backing performers, the backing artists. It's the only income that comes to that kind of musician, your violin player, your brass section. This is income that goes to them and provides a reliable income for our actual music community outside of our artists. Now, if you just apply equitable remuneration to some extent to on demand, suddenly, for the first time in history, money goes directly into the pockets on the first stream, irrespective of what awful contract terms an artist has, irrespective of all this historic stuff that's out there. which we can leave in place. The exclusive, like, all of that can stay, you know. This produces an income from stream one for artists and an income for our entire music community. It's a very, very simple solution.
But with streaming, what's complicated about it is that rather than you buying a record or downloading a track, as you used to do with your iPod, what you're doing when you stream music, sometimes you choose a track, and sometimes, in fact, quite a lot of the time, you're presented with a piece of music to listen to through the algorithm and so on. And therefore, it's kind of a hybrid of you downloading a track and you listening to the radio. And therefore, some money should be going to musicians in the same way as if that track was being played on the radio. And there's an existing legal right which we could latch onto if necessary and make some of that money get through to musicians. Is that the essence of your argument?
Absolutely. I mean, let's be clear, though. This isn't anything new. There are existing one-to-one non-linear broadcasting radio services in the world. I'm sure you'll have all heard of Pandora in the United States. This is a one-to-one algorithmic radio service, right? It just takes your preferences and plays music just for you, one-to-one. That service produces equitable remuneration. There is Last FM in this country, algorithmic radio, one-to-one streaming radio produces equitable remuneration. The algorithmic service playlisting within Spotify is called radio by Spotify. We'll all have seen it. If any of you use Spotify, it says radio on those playlists. And yet, for some reason, this activity, which is algorithmic playlists, algorithmic radio, is different to the other forms of algorithmic radio that are in the world.